Hello, Amy here, and the journey's kind of changed a little bit. So originally when I set up this channel, it was going to be all about creativity and spirituality. My dog's just coming in to join us, which I'm sure it will still include much of that. But life kind of took a turn in 2020 for all of us. But in my life, it brought a lot of self-awareness and new discoveries to the surface, shall we say. So in December 2020, just recently, I was diagnosed with ADHD. And it was something that I was thinking about for a couple of months because I had a friend who was going through the process, and things that she was sharing rang so true with me. Plus, I have noticed that my two sons have lots of sensory processing issues. They tend to be sensory seekers. They're seeking that extra sensory contact, and they struggle with clothing and certain materials and foods and things like that. So from my research in the past, I discovered that they're actually highly sensitive people, and I always thought I was too. And then since my mental health has been very rockety the past few years, I thought I had PMDD because my cycles were really affecting how I felt. So coming up to my monthly cycle, I would be in a very low mood and high anxiety, and it was happening every single month. I've always struggled my whole life with emotional dysregulation. I'm super sensitive, and I always just thought that was me. I just thought I'm just a highly sensitive person. That's just who I am. I am an empath. So it can be a superpower, but it can also be really tricky to deal with as well. But so officially, medically, I have ADHD, and I wanted to start a little blog about my journey, which I'm going to include on this page because this is the Creative Intuitive. I'm still the Creative Intuitive, and this is just another side to me now that I have discovered. So I wanted to start today because I'm finding this week particularly overwhelming, and I thought this would be a good way to kind of start with how I experience ADHD, so how this is affecting my life, and the kind of crazy things that I do, which can be quite comical at times. So last week I had a really emotional week. It was that week before the start of my cycle, and I was very low mood, very high anxiety, and also feeling very restless and bored and miserable and depressed about my life, and thinking a lot about career because I've had this issue for a long time. I've been out of work now for 5 years, and I've been doing my own little self-employed businesses here and there, dabbling in different things, and I'm getting to that point now where I really feel the need to go back out in the community and to make a difference and to help other people and do something. I get stuck at this point, like, what do I do? My background is in creative arts. My last job was a creative producer for a creative arts organisation that worked with children and adults with, funnily enough, neurodivergence and disabilities, which I really enjoyed. But that job came to an end, and I've felt a bit lost ever since. I've been a stay-at-home mum. I've done all sorts of other things. But now I'm like, what can I do next? What's the next opportunity now that my children are at school and preschool? And what can I do part-time? I'd have to have the work-life balance to feel happy. I need time to myself and to regroup, and process. So I would not be ready for full-time, plus it wouldn't work with family life. But anyway, I digress, because now I'm just going to chat on about random stuff. This is what happens with my ADHD. I can't stick to the point. Okay. So I was feeling quite bored and restless last week. So I signed up to loads of stuff. I do this. I go into hyper-focus mode. I signed up to a police recruiting webinar specifically for neurodivergent people. I thought I'll find out more about that. I then thought, perhaps I could work in SEN as a teaching assistant in schools, because obviously now I've discovered my own diagnosis. I feel like I'm even better placed to understand and empathise with children who, have had the diagnosis younger and need additional support. So I signed up to a diploma to learn more about SEN. And while I was signing up to that diploma, there was an offer on to get another diploma. So I signed up to a diploma for writing for children as well, because I am a writer. I haven't written anything for quite a while. But that was what my degree is in. And I thought, I could do some writing for children too. So I might do that as well. So I've now got those 2 diplomas sat in my inbox waiting for me to start. On top of the other 15 diplomas that I have sat in my inbox waiting for me to start/finish. And then I thought, right, it's time now to get moving on my son, because we've been homeschooling and he's been finding it really tricky. He suffers a lot of anxiety. He has to have everything perfect before he can get started. And if he starts and it isn't perfect, he screws it up and starts again. And we've had lots of meltdowns and loads of emotions. So I thought, right, I think, especially now I've been diagnosed, it's time to get this sorted. So I've been speaking to the school about it for years, about his emotions especially and anxiety. It's time to get the ball rolling so we can help him through this, because he's very quiet at school. He doesn't ask for help, he doesn't speak out, he holds it all in, and then it's the Coke bottle effect when he gets home, and it's all those kept squeezed in emotions come out, and I'm trying to regulate my own emotions. So it can be really, really hard sometimes when everybody's blowing up, melting down, crying. It can be a very emotional household. It's time to get some extra support for both of us. So I know the best techniques. I've tried so many things. I've created my own ways of breathing techniques and all sorts to help him and help myself and help my other children. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So we need that extra support and guidance. Anyway, so I did that. So I started the ball rolling with that, and we've got a doctor's appointment this week. Then I signed up with a teaching agency to help get work in schools part-time. I explained that I wanted to do this diploma and I wanted to get some experience working in schools. So I did that. So now he's asking for loads. I've got an interview with that agency tomorrow, just a casual chat. But he's asking for loads of documents from me. So passport, driving licence, a letter, my degree, qualification, all sorts of stuff that he wants me to get ready for tomorrow that I haven't got ready. So now all the stress is like gradually layering up, because like, oh my gosh, I've got to send this there, I've got to do that, I've got this diploma, and all these things are sticking in my head. I've got so much to do. And in my little business, Earth Art, which is my creative business, I also have a huge commission that's just come in with like 2,000 odd flowers, memorial flowers, to make into 20 different memorial objects, ornaments, pressed flower frames, all sorts of things. So that's a huge one, and they're currently in my fridge outside cooling, and it is time to press them. I've got loads to get through and no time at the moment. All the kids are in school tomorrow for a few hours, so I might be able to get started. But I'm like, oh my goodness, everything seems to be this week. I've done the webinar. I spent 2 hours on that with the police this afternoon. I've got another webinar tonight that was meant to start at 7:00 that I'm meant to be doing about ADHD and sleep and how to get better sleep, because I've been signing up to all the information about that as well. I've got all these forms to fill out for tomorrow. I've got this big load of work hanging over my head. I've got my son's referral. It's just, this is what happens when I'm bored and feeling that need for something. I'll just start something or start signing up to things, and then it all piles on top of me at once, because my organisation is awful. And when I'm doing these things, I'm just thinking in the moment and not considering the future and when all these things are happening. And basically that's what ADHD is. It's executive functioning is pretty dire. Well, in me it is. It's really dire in me. So I think some people struggle more than others. Some people find their own workarounds. But for me, I'm still waiting to learn all that stuff. I read things, it goes in one ear and out the other, because I'm just an impulsive kind of girl. So feeling a little bit stressed and a little bit like, oh my gosh, I don't know my arse from my elbow at the moment. I've got loads to do, loads to get on with, and I'm sat here deciding this is the best time to start a YouTube video. So that's me. Hello, welcome to Amy Land. So I'm going to leave it short and sweet, and leave it there for day one of Amy's creative, intuitive ADHD brain. This is how I'm feeling today, and that's all the stuff I've got going on. So I will jump in soon and give you the next edition so you can see the difference and how it plays out in my life. So obviously this is my experience. Everybody with ADHD is different, just like everybody in general is different in the world. So, you know, traits can be different, experiences are different for everybody. So that's why it's sometimes really hard to pinpoint it. But now that I know, and it makes so much sense. This, like, my whole life basically has gone, I've replayed everything in my head and been like, oh, that's why. Bing, the light bulb goes off. So I'm just waiting to get the help. I'm waiting for the medication to start, and counselling and support services, and just to learn my workarounds, because I've got to 35 just about swimming above water. See you soon.